Hi everyone, it's Tatyana from Tatyana's Everyday Food, and today we're going to be making fruit and champagne macarons with a peach and champagne filling, and then I'm going to finish the cookies off with a gold pearl dust to make them extra special. I'm really excited about this recipe, so let's get started. For this video, we're going to need 10 grams of freeze-dried fruit powder. Now today I'm using mango, but you can use just about any flavor that you like. So purchase freeze-dried fruit, place it into a food processor, pulse it for a few seconds until it's a really nice powder, and then put it through a fine mesh strainer and weigh out 10 grams. Now for our remaining ingredients, we're going to need 150 grams of almond flour, we need 140 grams of confectioner's sugar, and I need 110 grams of aged egg whites, or just bring them up to room temperature, and we're going to split them in half, so 55 grams per bowl. We're going to need 40 grams of sparkling wine, and I'm going to need 120 grams of white granulated sugar. Now I'm going to use some icing color, and icing color is like a concentrated food coloring, and it's a thick paste, so it doesn't add a lot of weight to the recipe. It's not going to change the consistency, and I'm adding just a touch for a little bit of color. For my first step, I'm going to combine my almond flour, my powdered sugar, and my freeze-dried fruit powder into a large bowl. I'm just going to combine them until I have a nice uniform mixture, and then I'm going to set it aside. Next, we need to prepare our sugar syrup. So I'm going to pour my 40 grams of sparkling wine into a small saucepan. I'm also going to add my sugar. I'm going to take this over to the stove top, and we need to cook it over medium heat until the temperature reaches 240 degrees Fahrenheit. Now while we're cooking our sugar syrup, we could start mixing our egg whites. So I'm going to add my 55 grams of egg whites into my mixer bowl. And when my sugar syrup is almost 240 degrees, I'm going to turn on my mixer, and we just need to beat our egg whites until soft peaks form. Once we have our sugar syrup ready, I'm going to turn my mixer on high speed, and we're going to keep whisking the meringue until it's really thick and glossy. So my meringue is all done now, and you can see how thick and glossy it is. That's just the way we need it for our cookie recipe. So now we can add it into our flour. I'm going to transfer my meringue into my flour, and I'm also going to add the other 55 grams of egg whites into my bowl as well, and we're going to gently fold everything together. And now we could just gently start folding all our ingredients together. And you could really see how far just one little dot of that icing color goes. You could see that beautiful creamy orange color it gives me, and I use just a tiny little bit of it. And we need to keep mixing our batter until it reaches the right consistency. And when it's the right consistency, the batter is going to fall off your spatula in a ribbon, and it should take a maximum of like 15 to 20 seconds to settle back down completely. So if your batter is not there yet, just keep stirring it, but make sure to test often so you don't overmix your batter. We need to pipe small 1-inch cookies out onto our baking sheet. And you want to leave about 1.5 inches in between, just so that the cookies have space. So for our next step, we need to tap out all the air bubbles out of the cookies. So just line a counter with a towel and just drop your pan a few times. And you're literally going to see little air bubbles break the surface of the cookie, and that's just what we need. We don't want the air bubbles to pop in the oven. And now we're going to let our cookies stand for 1 hour. This is going to allow for a thin film to form over the cookies. It's going to give them that beautiful iconic shape, and it's also going to help prevent them from cracking. Once your cookies have been standing for 1 hour, they're ready to go into the oven. I have mine preheated to 290 degrees, and I'm going to bake them anywhere from 12 to 14 minutes. It's important to watch them while they're in the oven, just so that the cookies don't brown. If you notice that they're baking too fast, just open the oven door and let some of the heat out. After you take your cookies out of the oven, you just want to let them cool on the parchment paper completely before you take them off, and they should come off fairly easily. They should come right off. You want that nice flat bottom. And now it's time to add our gold pearl dust. So you can purchase gold pearl dust in a little canister like this. And then I also have a large fan brush, and I bought one I dedicated to the kitchen that you could just keep in the kitchen, use for future use. So I put just a little bit on a plate. You want to dip your brush all the way around, and then take a cookie and very gently just feather it all over the top, and you can see the nice shimmer that it gives. You can add more if you want. And we're going to do this for all of our cookies. And now we can start working on our filling. So I'm making a simple buttercream with a little twist. I'm adding a little bit of champagne and some peach preserve. So I have 3 sticks of butter, so that's 1.5 cups of butter, and I've softened it to room temperature. I'm gonna add it into my mixer bowl. I'm gonna whisk it until it's really light and fluffy. Once your butter is really light and fluffy, and it should be almost white in color, we're gonna add a few tablespoons of peach preserves. And we're gonna whisk that in as well. And I'm also gonna add a few tablespoons of sparkling wine. I'm gonna add a few tablespoons first, and then if I need more, I can always add more. And now we could start adding our confectioner sugar. So add 1/3 cup at a time, and then I whisk it after each addition until the frosting is really light and fluffy. So I've turned half of my cookies upside down, and the other half I've left up, and now we're just gonna add a generous amount of frosting to the center of each one. And now we're just gonna put them together. Just gently press the 2 cookies together, spread the frosting to the sides evenly. Our cookies are all done now. I'm so happy with how they turned out. I love that extra flair that the gold pearl dust gives to the cookies. It's like this extra elegant macaron cookie. And you can almost smell the champagne and the peaches in the filling. It's a perfect little cookie. Now it's time to enjoy. I really like that you can actually taste the sparkling wine in the filling. Also the peaches and then the little mango flavor in the cookie. These are really, really great. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and you'll get updates every single time I post new videos. So good.